Talking Trees with Lily and Jad. Welcome to Talking Trees. It's Friday, and every week we'll be diving into various topics from the arboricultural industry. Today we'll start with an in-depth look at the European Arboricultural Council, EAC. We'll explore the vital role EAC plays in promoting tree care across Europe, its efforts to professionalize the industry, and the significance of international collaboration in addressing climate change and urban forestry challenges. Join us as we break down key ideas from the EAC's mission and how they impact arboriculture today. Let's get started.
Okay, so today we're going deep into urban forestry. Have you ever thought about who takes care of all the trees in cities?
Yeah, it's not like they just thrive on concrete and fumes.
Exactly. So we're going to dig into this organization you might not know about. But they've been quietly making cities greener for over 30 years.
30 years is a long time.
Right. It's the European Arboricultural Council, EAC for short. And I gotta say, their whole deal is kind of cool. They're all about making sure trees aren't mistreated due to a lack of professionalism, which... Honestly, I feel that.
Yeah, it's a pretty relatable way to put it. And what's interesting is they were saying this back in '92 when they started, way before climate change and all that was such a big deal.
Yeah, no kidding. So they were ahead of the curve. They saw the need for professional tree care back then. What were some of the first things they tackled?
Well, one of the biggies was setting up these really serious training programs and certifications, too.
Yeah.
You've maybe heard of, European tree worker.
Okay, European tree worker. That has a ring to it.
Or European tree technician, even more official.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't trust anyone LSA with my plants after hearing that. But seriously, why is this certification so important?
It's all about making sure the trees in our cities are healthy, and that they'll actually live a good long life. These programs...
And we're talking how many people here?
Over 12,000 certified professionals all over Europe. So it guarantees that whoever's taking care of those trees knows their stuff.
Wow, 12,000. That's a whole lot of tree guardians. So, for every major city, there's someone making sure those urban forests are good.
You got it. And these aren't just any tree huggers. They've gone through some serious training.
I bet.
Everything from pruning, to spotting diseases, you name it.
That's reassuring, especially with all the stuff trees in cities have to deal with. So they're out there fighting pollution pests, maybe even the odd squirrel or two.
Right. But it's more than just reacting to problems, The EAC is also about being proactive, shaping how cities think about trees in the first place.
Proactive tree planting. Okay, now that's interesting. Tell me more about that. What does that even look like?
So instead of just dealing with tree emergencies, they're trying to stop them before they start.
Okay, that makes sense.
One of their big things is pushing for trees to be a major part of city planning, not just an afterthought.
Yeah, making sure new buildings don't just pave over every inch of green space.
Exactly. It's about fitting trees in a way that makes sense, choosing the right types.
Oh, the climate.
The climate, making sure they've got room to grow.
Right.
And that's actually where their research comes in.
Research? What kind of research are we talking about here?
They're really getting into how different trees handle things like pollution. Those super hot temperatures cities get just from having so much concrete.
Yeah, the heat island effect, right?
Exactly. They're figuring out which trees can take the heat the best.
So it's kind of like matchmaking for cities and trees. Okay, your city's got smog and not much green space. This oak is the one for you.
Haha. Yeah, that's the idea. And what's really cool is they're focused on trees that can handle climate change, too. We're talking about building urban forests that'll last.
No, that's huge. We can't just keep planting the same trees if the climate's changing. But wouldn't it be easier to just, import some super tough trees from somewhere else?
It's not always about bringing in exotic species, though sometimes that's needed. One of the experts, Glenn Reed from Norway, he said something really interesting about this. Sometimes native trees, if you choose carefully and take care of them, they can be just as tough.
That's a good point. Okay, so we've got the EAC promoting smart planning, researching the toughest trees, training a whole army of experts, but are they also out there, giving awards to the cities doing it right?
Well, maybe not awards exactly, but they do have something even better. It's called the European City of the Trees Award.
Okay, tell me there's at least a fancy ceremony involved.
Maybe. But seriously, to win this thing, it's not just about having pretty trees, though. That helps.
Sure.
They look at the whole picture. Does the city have a real plan for its trees?
Okay. Makes sense.
Are they planting different kinds of trees? Are they thinking about the future? Do they get the people who live there involved in taking care of the trees. It's got to be the whole package.
Wow. So winning that award means a city's really serious about its trees, both now and in the future. Are there any past winners that really stand out?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Vienna's one. They've got these amazing parks and green spaces. And then there's Turin in Italy. They've got this project going, trying to create a whole ring of forest around the city.
A whole forest ring. Okay, that's seriously ambitious. You know, this makes me wonder. I mean, I know we do these deep dives to learn stuff, but is there a way for me to actually find out if my Y city is doing this whole tree thing right?
Oh, for sure. The EAC's website, they got a whole section about that European City of the Trees Award.
Really?
Yeah, you can see who's won before, what the rules are. Maybe even get some ideas for how your own city could do better.
I like that. A little competition never hurt anyone, right?
So we've talked about a lot with the EAC. Their dedication to training people the right way, being proactive with trees. Those awards, they're really building something cool.
It's impressive, right? Especially when you think they started all the way back in '92. They were talking about how important trees are in cities way before most people were.
Totally. And now, 30 years later, with climate change being such a huge deal, their work feels even more important.
No kidding. As things heat up and the weather gets crazier, our cities are going to need those trees more than ever.
It's like they're not just planting trees, they're planting solutions for the future. And it goes back to that thing we talked about, making sure trees are taken care of professionally.
Totally. And you know what else struck me while I was reading up on them? The EAC, they call themselves a big family. It's not just business for them, it's a whole community of people who love trees. I love that. It's not just about knowing the technical stuff, but also really respecting and appreciating trees for what they are. Speaking of respect, I remember something Wolfgang Gross said. He's been with the EAC forever, and he said he wishes more people understood that trees are living beings that deserve our respect.
So true. They're not just decorations in our cities.
Yeah.
They give us oxygen, shade, beauty, all kinds of good stuff.
It's true. We should all take a second to appreciate them, really see them, not just glance at them as they walk by. So here's my challenge for everyone listening. Next time you're out and about, take a moment to really look at the trees around you. Maybe even give a little thank you to the EAC and all those people working hard to keep our cities green. On that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of urban forestry. Until next time, happy tree spotting.
Thanks for tuning in to Talking Trees. We hope you found today's discussion on the European Arboricultural Council insightful. Remember, every Friday we'll explore different topics from the arboricultural industry, so be sure to join us next week for more engaging content. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform. And if you'd like to support the podcast, head over to www.herohero.co/talkingtrees for daily episodes and more exclusive content. Until next time, keep growing your knowledge and appreciation for trees.